play in Dingle anyway. We have a great group since we got the hurlers from the Hurling Development Committee in Croke Park, and they're very interested, thanks be to God. And they're mainly between 8 and 12 years of age, and I think that's the age group to start them as well, you know. And especially when this group are quite interested in it at the moment. They would do anything for you, this group, you know. They would go anywhere, do anything. They were absolutely delighted to get to Croke Park as well a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, Croke Park for a Kerry man at any age is a big deal, but to actually play in Croke Park is tremendous. So thanks again to the Hurling Development Committee for the support. With hurling, look, it's a skill, it's a lovely skill, and I think as far as I'm concerned, look, as you can see from 69, it's a long time ago, it's nice to have an opportunity to pass on what skills, particularly the hurling skills. It's brilliant, you know, and the young people we have at the moment, they'd play any sport for you. And look, with my own family as well, my son and daughter, like, it was difficult to kind of pass it on to them, but when I passed it on to them, they used it then when they moved on in life into college and into work situations as well. So especially when you go outside of Kerry, maybe not every person you meet is into football, but certainly you'll meet a hurler from every county, no matter where they come from.
There was always a small bit of hurling going on a Sunday morning after training, just the basic skills, tipping around for half an hour after football. And then last year, Pádraig Corcoran, he's the school principal here now in C.L.G here in Dingle, the boys' school. So he reintroduced a bit of hurling at school, and kind of found that there was a good bit of interest in it. Lads were mad for playing it, and Kerry Development Hurling were involved in as well. Giles O'Grady, he was coming back. So I suppose from that then, they obviously saw there was a small little bit of potential there and a bit of interest, and contact was made to myself by Giles. Would we be interested in setting up an underage team in the club, and kind of seeing where it went, or was there interest? I suppose, was the first thing. So we put it out to the parents to see who was interested in playing a bit of hurling, and we got a great reaction. And it kind of started from that, I suppose, from the school, from it being brought into the school here again.
There's a great tradition of hurling in the school in C.L.G Uí Chúis, going back, I think, to the Brother O'Cahan, who was from County Clare, and Micheál O'Connor, who was an ex-teacher in the school as well, and Maura Flavin, an ex-principal. So there's a huge tradition of hurling, and there was also, they did hurling Amon Feyin, so under the roof of the Shanahala Visa Skull, and so yeah, there's a great strong tradition in there, and I suppose when I came back to the school, there's a fabulous tradition of sport in the school, which is another thing we were interested in doing. The children were delighted to pick it up and start going.
So they've had a busy enough couple of months now, the last 6 months, kind of since we got it up and running fully. We went into Tralee where we played a couple of Go games. That was their first taste of it now, and I suppose they were a bit rusty that night because it was their first time ever being in an actual game of hurling. And after that then we went over to Fireys where we played a couple of other blitz games where they were very competitive, won games. So then we got notification that there was going to be a trip to Croke Park. It was for Gaeltacht speaking teams. It was all about the development of hurling. So I applied for that, and we were successful in getting accepted to go up and participate in it. And you've never seen such an excited bus as we had from here to Dublin with 20 young lads with hurleys and helmets. And like, what a great experience it was for them, like, to be out on the pitch, wearing the Dingle jersey with a hurley in their hand, and they got the amount of parents the following couple of days that came up to me and said that they're still talking about it, the enjoyment they got out of it. And look, they're small things that they'll always remember.
It was a great day out for the club. Certainly men from Dingle with hurls hasn't been seen for a while, and no, it's great, as in even for football going forward. Even when I played hurling football in Galway, I used to hate going to play the likes of Athenry or Loughrea, knowing that these guys are way sharper, their reactions are just off the chart. Yeah, it can only help them. The more sport they play, the better they become. So.
My father's actually, he's a 6 mile bridge man, proud Clare man, and he came down to Dingle in the 90s, settled, and I think it was our group, say the likes of Barry Dan O'Sullivan, Mark O'Connor, Tom O'Sullivan, and we had a nice crop there from we were 7, 8 years of age, and we had a school team, and then we went on to win the under 14 Division 1, and then I suppose there was no hurling for a couple of years in Dingle, so the likes of myself, Paul Ganey there, Dara Dan O'Sullivan, Barry Dan O'Sullivan, and Eugene Connor's nephew, Gene, we went playing with like Snahan Kilmiley down the years. We always had that graw for it, and that's where maybe my father and my grandmother up in Clare were big examples of that in my childhood.
And you know, it's all transferable into one aspect or another of either just another sport or life. But it helped me a lot, I think, and just hugely enjoyable as well. It's a totally different game to Gaelic football, obviously. So it was hugely enjoyable in that sense. And you can see the couple of kids that are out here now, and they only started this year. But within a couple of months there, they're pucking around to each other, and you can carry the hurl anywhere. You can, go. You don't have to be actively playing sport. You can actually just go and enjoy having a couple of pucks and carry the hurl around. And even if you don't have somebody to play with, up against the wall, and that's where we learned how to get first touch in that.
It was great to see children who wouldn't be that interested maybe in football as well, and it just consumed all of them really. And there were certain children, as I say, that weren't particularly sporty, but I think that kind of warrior element of putting on a helmet and getting a hurley in their hand and going out and maybe getting stuck into other young fellas was good fun, and they enjoyed it. And we had a boy there, I think, from of Ukrainian descent, and there was a bit of ice hockey, I think, in the family, and he turned out and he loved it, so it's great to see it.
I think Dingle desperately lacks in facilities outside of what the GAA club and the soccer club and the rugby club provide. We've no town hall or other things. So outside of sports clubs, there's a vacuum. So to have another sport here that brings kids up to the sports field and keeps them out of harm's way for another hour in a week or 2 hours in a week it's only good. And especially as they grow older, they might come up here with the hurl as well and the football and spend half the day here rather than walking around town and getting up to mischief as well. So I think it's a huge thing, and it's a great thing to have in the club.
Yeah, I suppose so. When we were initially trying to set up, Richie always had a few hurleys and helmets, and I was liaising with Giles, and we were trying to get more gear and stuff like that. So Giles informed me about the process that every year there is stacked up applications that you can apply for. So we put in for that. We were successful in getting it, which has been absolutely brilliant. We've got 20, 30 helmets, 20 or 30 hurleys of all sizes, all types of slitters. And I suppose, look, it's brilliant because everyone now has their own hurley, has their own slitter. We're going to give them out to them now that they keep them at home. They'll bring them into school. They'll use it as all part of that, and we can't be grateful enough for that support from Croke Park for that startup plan. Like we would probably struggle a small bit to be able to have the funds to go buy all that. It would have been falling back onto the parents to do it if their child wanted to play hurling.
The group we have out here in the field at the moment, I think they're 8, 9, 10 years of age, and they're a really, really competitive group, and it bodes well for the club and also for the school. The plans are to keep it going. I know Giles and Cullum are keen on keeping it going and coming back to the school and doing a few sessions with us, but the likes of Richie Williams there, Noel Steed, Stephen Murphy are doing fantastic work on the ground with the club every Sunday morning here. The kids are loving it, and as long as we can keep that going, we've participated in a couple of school blitzes as well, with schools around their own ability level, and hopefully if these boys are training, that we can start competing at a higher level.
So we're accepting everyone, and look, hopefully out of that we might get another coach or two, and which means we'll be able to sustain it going forward. That's the biggest thing, is trying to have enough coaches to be able to have teams going forward. So at the moment, look, we're very lucky. We have the coaches, we have the under 10s, under 8s, and that's where we are at the moment. We'll have to look now going forward next year, what age group we stick with. Do we continue on with that under 10 team on to under 12. So we'll sit down with Giles and we'll sit with the parents and see what our interest is like going forward.
Bring up the kids and see if they like it and give it a go, and you know, they get to hurling, they might go home and go off the wall with maybe break their windows, but you know, the balls are soft, so that's the other side. It's very safe. Just the hurleys are nice and light, and the balls are light as well, and the helmet is there, so anyone with any of those worries, you need not worry with that. And you know, they could come up there and they play a small game at the end. It's mainly based around skills, so it's good to have a little bit of discipline in training as well. So it's all good for parents. There's no real downside, so give it a go.
Yeah, well, we've started at under 10. There's a few under 12s that have given the desire to play also. Obviously, the more people that tie in with it in the community, the larger community of West Kerry, the better it can grow. If we can follow this under 10 team up, you wouldn't know what could happen. They're a competitive bunch and they hate losing. So hopefully it'll bode good things for the future.